And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. I know there are issues with YouTube today in terms of trying to get in. I've had a few problems with it today. I think a few of you have told me already they've got issues with YouTube. So I'm going to just try on with this show tonight and hope that at some point YouTube resolves its issues. Without further ado, I have with me back in the show a very good brother, a good man, all the way from London again, Mr. Tony Cesay. Tony, how are we doing?
Thank you so much. Very grateful to be on your show. Thank you for letting me on there.
It's not about letting you on. It's about you being a legend in your own right. We love to have you on the show.
Love being on there. It's fantastic.
So how you been? I think the last time I spoke to you. Yeah.
Been fantastic. It's been great. It's been a whirlwind. We've had some young people making you very excited coming up in the boxing game. Young people who've just started boxing for their clubs, where they come and train with me, but they're doing so well. And my son doing fantastic. He's his first international and he scores 2 goals. And so I'm on a whirlwind. I'm on a dancing. I've been dancing all 3-4 weeks. I haven't stopped.
I saw you doing some dancing there, some sort of limbo sort of dancing. It was
I'm dancing. I'm even dancing now. Look, I'm even turning. I'm even having a twirl right now.
I've got to say, I am absolutely jealous of you. Since the lockdown, since we had that lockdown almost 2 years ago, started that lockdown. I think that was the last time I saw a nightclub. Since then, I've not seen a nightclub, a bar, I've not been dancing. It's not good.
It's fantastic when you. I'm in there.
Every weekend
I couldn't wait. Dancing. I said to you, when this lockdown finishes, I'm in the club all the time. Every week, any excuse I'm gonna find. If somebody's had a birthday, if somebody's ran the ocean, swam the ocean, I'm having a party. Yeah, if someone goes on holiday, I'm having a party. If someone's eating so much food, I'm having a party. I'm dancing. Yeah. I'm going out there. Yeah, so it's been brilliant. It's expressing all the good energy that people have, and that's what you want to give back. You want to give back to the people. Everything that we lost in this this lockdown is diminished and destroyed people. And so we have to really have that good positive energy within people to say this and enjoy yourself, live life, and be grateful for what you have. And you just be joyful for that. Even though there's ups and downs with everybody in everybody's life. My life is not brilliant, but I tell you what, I make it brilliant. But why I make it brilliant? Because I go out there and I become a champion. You understand? Every day I want to be a champion. Every day I want to do something which is going to make somebody special. Do something special for somebody. And that's what I do. That's why I love the coaching, because every day you give questions to certain people to ask about themselves. You give them things to do, that makes you that person, that makes you that your inner self, your own energy becomes greater. That's why I love coaching. That's why, when somebody does something, when you've made them, developed them, and they get them honors. It's the biggest buzz of all. You're just dancing all round. So for me, it's the best thing you could ever have. The best thing you can ever produce. People don't understand why coaches coach. You know what I mean? They think they coach because the reason is that when they have coached and they've developed that inner self, that inner person, he develops even more. See,
course.
they bounce even more, so they dance even more. For me, I just love dancing, singing, going into, and smiling and making people, have fun
So
and smile. That's what you do.
how do you because I'm I've been coaching for so many years. How do you balance the energy that you have that is so positive and so bright and so wanting to be a champion with people who are polar opposites to that? Because I noticed that when people are of light, they tend to attract people of darkness, or people of darkness or who are low seem to come towards people of light like that. So
Oh
how do
yeah, they
you
do,
balance?
because
How do you
because
do
they
that?
want they try what they try to do. They try to take that good energy that you have. That's what they want. That's what they want to be like you. They want to try to, but they want to bring you down at the same time. So you got to watch
Absolutely.
what sort of people you deal with, because if you are not strong enough to cope with them, you've got to let them go. You've got to let them go, and then focus on the people who want your energy, who want to bounce, who want to, because you're even more happy after leaving them.
Absolutely.
You're even more energized. You're even more. So it's always good to say, right, I would like to help certain people who have that, who ain't got that
Yeah.
energy, because that's why they attract you. That's why they come for you, because they want to see how and what you do to make yourself so likable, enjoyable, favorable. They want that. So they will hang on to you like a leech, and once they've got what they want, then
They're
they're
gone.
gone. They've gone. So you've got to watch that. You've got to watch that. Give them that little bit of spark and energy. Then you got to let them go. You have to know
But
when to
what
let them go.
oh, you gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them, Uncle Bashir would tell me.
Yeah, and when to let them go, because if you don't, they'll hang on to you. You can never let them go, because
Yeah.
they're a part of you now, and they're not letting you go, and they know you're gonna pull you down,
Yeah. But I
take you
don't
down.
understand. But why if you see something good and it's gonna benefit you, why would you go out your way to sabotage that? That mentality I don't
Because that's
understand.
people. That's people. That's human mentality. That's the whole process. Because you got to remember that there's so much energy around in this world that people don't know how to accept it. They don't know how to focus on it. So, and because they don't, they're looking at and watching you, and they're jealous at the same time. See, and this is what you've got to watch, that instead of, so you could try to want to help somebody within that negative part of that life, but if they've put that, that downer on you, that negativity on you, you've got to get out. You've got to get out and let them, leave them alone. Don't attract them, because all they're going to do is tear you down. See, you can pick someone up and you can be joyful with other people, but if other people don't want that, see you grow and see that energy within you sparkle, they'll put you down. They'll burn out your light, and that's
Hmm.
it. So you'll end up like them,
Yeah,
but then
yeah,
that's
yeah. I
what they
feel that.
want, because their energy is negative. It's a farce. So you got to
Absolutely.
watch when you got to watch. You can tell straight away when somebody has that negative energy. They're just gonna tell you negative things, isn't they? All day
Yeah,
long.
absolutely.
Don't do this. I can't do that. Oh, this is so. This is why I love when them kids come into the gym. I can't do that. No, I don't let me. I love it, because by the time you've finished and you've changed their outlook and you've
Yeah,
changed
yeah.
their vision of their thinking, they know they can go and lose their weight. They know they can go and do this. They know they can go in the ring, because to get in the ring takes a lot. People to
It does.
chop their right arm off, a leg off, just to get in the ring. Not even to box, just to get in the ring. You know what I mean? See, you know how many
Yeah,
people, millions of people, are nervous and won't even dare attempt that. But to dare is to do. The old
absolutely.
Tottenham way.
What about the West Ham way? You're a West Ham fan. What are you looking at Tottenham for? What you got West
I'm
Ham?
a West Ham fan. I'm a West Ham fan. I love my claret and blue. To the day I die, I'll play claret and blue. That's it. I know, and it's fantastic when my son played for him, and I dreamed of that, and now he played for him, but now he's playing for Tottenham, so it's even better. Now he's there, signed as a professional, and so proud of him. And I'm also a Tottenham a supporter when he puts on that jersey.
So what happens when Tottenham play West Ham? You just lock yourself away in the toilet?
I keep quiet because all my friends are Tottenham supporters, and it's a time where you just keep your mouth shut, because we lost 3-1 the other week. I had to keep my mouth shut. You know what I mean? They were jumping around, dancing. They were dancing around me. So I had to just smile. I had to smile and keep dancing and say, "Oh, don't worry, we get you back. Don't worry, we get them back." So yeah, I went to a soul event in Bognor. I think it was Bognor Regis, and it was we had all DJs there who support Tottenham. The cops. All them lot there, they were taking the mick out of me. I'm telling you. So
you had to hold the L. You had to hold the L well.
I had to hold that loss, that learning, that learn. There was no way around it this time. We've beaten them enough this time. So we let you have that one. Yes, we let you have that one for now. We'll be back. We had to dance. Right, so I had to dance around it for them to forget. I had to do a super dance so they forget the score. They wouldn't stop talking about it. I was in Butlins and they wouldn't stop talking about it.
Wow!
So I had to dance. I danced the whole weekend. It was a special, special time, special, event. It was brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. So you met so many friends which are there. It was brilliant.
So let's talk about your son. Obviously, he's in left back, is it, or right back?
Yeah, he plays left back, right back, centre half. He plays midfield. He's fantastic.
Let the viewers know his name.
Callum Cesay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Callum Cesay. Okay.
He's so proud
he's in the first team now then.
Not of Tottenham, not the Tottenham yet. I'm praying for that. That's what I'm praying for. And but seeing his last performance and everything, I think they would trust in him now. I think because he's an international, so hopefully he will just keep doing what he's doing and he'll get his chance. That's all you can do with a good strong team like what Tottenham has got now. And Conte is doing very well with him. It's the manager, and it's the manager. The manager is the one who's changing the players who couldn't play that well, a few months ago. He's changed the whole mindset of the club, But I'm just hoping that he give them youngsters, not my son, but all the youngsters, because the youngsters are very good in the 23s. They train hard, and Wayne, the 23s manager is doing a wonderful job there. So
fantastic.
They're all going on loan and places like that, which it weakens the side a little bit, the 23s, because now they're more experienced players are out now, and to learn the game so they can play first team football, So but you've got good budding stars coming along from the 18s, the 16s, and the 18s. I taught them a bit of boxing up there. They let me come up there, Tottenham, to teach the kids up there boxing, and it's fantastic. It's the mindset. I want to show them and tell them the mindset and how you be a winner, and when you win, make sure you win as a team. And so it's just like, it's boxing. You're one, and that is it. You're the one in that ring, one-on-one, and you got to have that mindset to be a winner. And it's a different ball game. in football, because you have to be a team. Even though you've got that winning mentality, you have to you have to display yourself as a team. You know, you got to, everything goes to the team, throughout that team. So, you know, the aspects are so different.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit now. So he played. I know you showed me. He played for Sierra Leone. It was the under-23s, right?
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. No, it's not under 20 for the first team. He played
Oh
for the
wow!
first team
Fantastic.
for
Fantastic.
the Sierra Leone international team. He's a legend there. They've got his name up. They want to do all these talks and everything, you know. And I've just said leave him, let him just relax. And but they're talking about him, and they're phoning me and saying, is that your son? Is that your son? You know what I mean? Because Cesay is played. We spell it with a C. It's usually spelled with an S, but you know we spell ours with a C. So as soon as they see it, they know it's something to do with me. You know, because I'm a coach in Sierra Leone for the boxing team. You know, the national team. I've just come back from Serbia, so and there you've got my son playing international football for Sierra Leone. You know, it was a joy to see. It was a bit like, you know, your heart just, you know, you're just crying. I was just crying when I see them goals go in. He played like he was a man. You know, he just was in another planet. It was another world. They loved him. They trusted him. You know, that was the main. You know, he only worked with them that week. And they took him out. They trusted him to go out there to Turkey, which the coach was so thankful. I'm so thankful to the coach, you know, to choosing him and picking him, and you know, and the Football Association of Sierra Leone. It was fantastic.
Fantastic. So now I know that you've got extensive boxing background. So you fought yourself as an amateur. You've trained pro fighters. Sierra Leone, is that because of a lack of opportunities in the GB setup, or as a pro trainer, or is that because you just wanted to do something for your homeland?
I wanted to do something for I was never gonna go and do stuff for England, not because I didn't want to. I just didn't want to be. It's so different, you know. Yeah, it's to get your leg up that way, especially for black coaches. You know, you don't see a lot of black coaches in the England setup, which I hope would change, because they're really good black coaches out there. You know, in England, you know, Asian, you know, and there are lots. But like in football, it's the same. You have to, you know, you have to break down these barriers, and it would be good for people to start breaking them barriers down, so that you can get good coaches that should be there, you know, given a chance. It's the same with referees and judging, you know. You're seeing the difference there. They're changing that a lot. Yeah, you know, referee judging. So you're seeing a lot more different cultures within that. You know, boxing's a lot more different than, you know, football. Boxing, you don't get a lot of that racism and that chanting, you know. And no, you don't see that. This is why I love boxing. You know, you can go to a boxing match. They can call you an idiot. They can call you're useless, and you know, but they don't call you black useless. You know what I mean? They don't. They won't say that. They won't, because everybody will be just, you know, on you. And that's the difference with a crowd, of a boxing crowd, and, you know, a football crowd. And some of them football crowds will go to the boxing, but they wouldn't dare say that, because they know, you know, this is boxing. Yeah, you know, people won't have it. People won't take it. They won't take it. You know, you get a few drunks, a few, you know, it's there. But with boxing, you know, I can guarantee you that, you know, certain things. You know, they would throw bottles at you in Scotland. I went to Scotland, England, Scotland, when I was young. My first derby, gee, I was scared for my life. You know, I never knew. That's when I knew the English were hated. You know, not black. It wasn't because I was black. It was just because I was boxing for England. Yeah, we were so hated. Oh my God! It was like the, you know, the world it was ending. To them, it was like if they didn't beat us, oh, we weren't going home. So that were the days when I said to myself, "Whoa, this is different. Wow, what 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 have I got myself into here?" You know. And another time in boxing, I went to Northern Ireland. First time I went for Northern Ireland for boxing, and you had the war, there, and you had the soldiers on the floor, and they were crawling on the floor, and people were just stepping over them, and it's like they were doing their shopping. It's like it was nothing, they were all in lines, and they're all on the floor, and there was traffic. They were going across the road, like on their knees, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I seen this is war. I've come into war. This is what I knew about war. You're only like 15, 16 years. I don't know, it's 17, 18, and you can see war. You heard it on telly when you were young, since you were growing up, and then obviously going there and seeing what you saw, the soldiers with guns, real guns, you know what I mean? And they everywhere you went, there were soldiers, and this was in Ireland. I went, wow, it was a beautiful place. Beautiful. Oh, it's such a beautiful. We got invited to the town hall. We got to see president, and MPs. This is for us, Repton. We were in there. We had things exchanged, ties. I've still got the ties and watches and stuff they gave to us. And now this was a time when they didn't talk to each other, but they came together to talk to us. You know what I mean? It was everybody from from that side. If you was a Protestant or Catholic, and you was an MP, they came together because of us, the boxing, and they talked to us, and we talked to them, and and Tony Burns, had a good little meeting with them, and no one never knew that, but he had a good meeting. It was unbelievable. So, he did things that people don't even know he did for certain things, It was fantastic.
Tony Burns, a legend. I mean, so
he's a legend.
Going back to you talking about black coaches, I really want to stick on that, because as far as I'm concerned, from my personal opinion, I think you get to a point where you get fed up, and you get your qualifications and you go elsewhere. Get your qualifications, get your experience, and go elsewhere, and go where you're loved, go where you're appreciated, go where you can expand, and go where you can express. Because if you're
I think so. I think you can do that, but I also think we've got to fight that system. You know what I mean? We've got to have people there ready to say things, to say that this is what we should do. This is how we should grow the game. This is what we've got to do. So if there was a collective, and whoever said that this is needed to be done, it will get done. And this is why I say it's a lot different to football. Football is it's just gone the sky high. The heights of that to boxing, it just doesn't sit right, So, but I know that you get a chance in boxing if you really want it. If you really want it, you go out and they'll give you a chance. And that's it, because you got to remember that everybody's fighting for that same position. Yeah, they're all looking and fighting for this. They should do certain things that the Americans do. That certain amount of certain people should have these jobs, and in a certain amount. Yes, I think they should go like that. And the same with managers. Look at the managers. Look at the team. Look, why don't black people get together? Asians and get together and buy football teams. Because once you start buying the football teams, then we can now start employing our own managers who we want. We could be white, it could be black, it could be, but we've got a choice then. Instead of us leaving us on the outside, saying we're never going to get a job, because the more they keep doing that, what they're doing, you're pressing us even more to know and show us that we ain't gonna go anywhere in this game. We're gonna buy all the clubs up, and they're all gonna be white people will buy up all the clubs, and you ain't gonna get a chance, you know. So I believe with the boxing side of it, that if you really want it, and I think there's so many places to go now, because you can now go and coach. So for me, I never ever said to myself I was going to be an England coach. I always said I was going to be a coach, you know, and I was always going to go and coach for Sierra Leone, because I wanted to help. You know, they were more, they needed the help more than England would, you know. So whoever wanted to fight for positions in the England squad or whatever, they could have done that. But I believe that, you know, people should be picked, you know, for what they do the right way. But they also we should be given positions in that state to grow, you know, to grow and show. There are clubs which, you know, coaches, you know, run. So why couldn't they run an England team? But I think that has got to be put through England boxing, you know, because there's a lot of people who are working for England boxing, which are, you know, multiracial. You know,
let me throw this at you. Now, okay, there are people in not just the boxing industry, in industries where you've got people of color that get into positions of power. But when they get into positions of power, because they get into positions of power, they feel, or they now submit themselves to a way of thinking that shuts the door on people that look like themselves, because they feel pressured to pick people who look the same as them. So what can happen is they take the high road and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow my superiors, and I'm going to please my superiors. I'm getting my paycheck. It's a nice paycheck. I'm looking after my family, and I'm just going to look after those people who've looked after me, and they don't even look the same color. And I've noticed that, whether it be in politics, whether it be in sport, I've noticed that people in position of power, when they get into a position of power and authority to make the change, they don't. And the reason why they don't make the change is because they're comfortable with the position that they're in. It's because they're getting paid and they're threatened. And the fact that
of course, yeah, but then they're hurting their own by doing that, and they feel it. They're going to feel it, because it all comes back. It all comes back to bite them. No, they don't, because they're getting the money, but that won't last long. They don't. That never lasts long, because people find them out. People, they're not silly. Even if you're a different color, they will find it out. Do you understand? They will be found out. So I believe that, you know, in these day and ages now, that where we live in, you know, 2022, is that these things are talked about more now. It's not like where it used to be. They used to just not bother no more, because they knew nothing was going to get done. But now things are getting done. Things can be done. All we have to do is get together, and then, you know, now they know that all they have to do is march up and down, you know, Downing Street now with, you know, placards or whatever, and you know, signatures now. So they know now people have to be listened to when things are not right in this world now. The talking, you know, and the development of, you know, talking is gone through the roof. You know, people, the mental state of people's minds and everything else, it's affecting a lot of people when things are not going right in this world, and especially in this land. So people are more, you know, together to say, listen, let's talk about this now. Even the issues of racism, and even issues of certain, they don't want to, because it's going to hurt, but you has to. I think it has to make that change, you know. So I feel that these people will always get found out. See, so they can go and take the paycheck; it won't last long, and then they'll say, "I should have. This is what I should have done. Now this is what I'm going to do to make sure this doesn't happen again." Because you got to remember that, you know, all them years of dictatorship and in African lands and countries. They're still doing the same thing now. All the governors and all the government in there are still getting paid off by the big countries. You know what I mean? They're still, they're still getting paid off, and they're still, meaning that they will work for themselves, but they forget about the people. The
Yeah.
people which are important. As soon as they get into power and they take that money, they put their kids into, proper universities over in America, in Germany,
Yeah.
wherever, Sweden, wherever
Yeah.
is good, because they've got the money to do that now. Because you've got to remember, they're looking after themselves now. See, and
Yeah.
this is what they're going to play against us. You know what I mean? Especially coming from a land like Africa, where other nations dominate. And that's
Yes.
what it is. They know they can get us that way, and we have to stop. Them dictating to what we can do in that country, them beautiful countries. They've got to start seeing that they could do things themselves, grow things themselves. And
Back into sound. Back into the
so,
sound. Okay.
yeah, once they get that, then it will change. Everything will change.
Fantastic. Salute to you, Shane. So I want to talk to you about the cricket because you've noticed there's a lot of
Hello.
stuff. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yo,
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. I can hear you.
hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Last night I called you on the phone. Seemed to me you got an attitude with me. Do you want me to leave you alone? If so, like a bird, I will set you free. Oh, you
Tony.
can't hear me now, but I'm singing.
I can hear you. I can hear you singing. I can hear you singing. Can you hear
Bum,
me?
bum, 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 bum,
Can you hear me, Tony?
bum,
Let's try and
bum.
set this out here.
I
Settings,
can't hear you.
audio. Let's try.
Can you hear me? I
Can you hear
can
me?
hear you, but
Can you
can
hear
you
me?
hear me? I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. I can't hear you. Can you
Me
hear
too.
me? Yeah.
Let's try and do this. You should hear me. I don't want to hear me. Try this. Try that second. So sound, audio. Let's try this. Settings,
Hello.
audio. Hold on.
If your love found high,
Can you hear
to
me? Hello.
shout out loud, you're the one for me.
Can you hear me?
You're the one for me.
Tony, can you hear me? Tony, hello. I think he's muted his mic. Let me see if I can get him.
You don't know. You don't know what you do to me, but I'm not the same. I'm not the same. Oh, with love, touching fire, thunder rain. Oh, love by my side. The world will be mine. You're the one for me.
I'm ringing you, Tony. He's on his own world. He's on his own world.
What's happening?
Don't want to happen, Tony. Oh dear. Yeah, let's see. Uh, let's come out a second. Let's refresh. Hello, Tony. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
No,
Tony, can you hear me?
You're like a tiger.
Can you hear me? No.
No, it's you're
Can you hear me
sounding.
now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're sounding like a tiger.
Sound like a tiger? How's that?
You sound like a tiger.
Can you hear me now? Let's see. Can you hear now? Is that any good? Is that better?
No, that's still the same. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez.
Well, it's working.
What
I
is
don't know
going
what's going on there. Let's try this. Can you hear me now? No? Can you hear me now, Tony? No? Nope. Nope. Look, we've lost Tony here. Hello? Tony, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tony?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I don't know.
I think you've muted you. I think you've put your mic on mute. Try this. Oh, I've got no internet. No.
You don't know what you do to me, but I'm not the same. You don't know.
Uh-oh.
The world will be mine for the one I need.
Our deepest apologies. Tony Cesay can't hear what we're saying. I don't know why that is. Obviously, there is a link from his end, and he can't hear what we're saying, but he's dancing away. But I don't know why he's dancing, but he's in a good mood. In any case, but he can't hear what we're saying. Don't ask me why, but he cannot hear what we're saying. So we're going to try and go back to Tony and see if we can get something going through here. Tony.
Oh, jeez. I can't even hear what you're saying. They messed up the mic.
You messed up the mic. It was a good conversation as well.
I can't even. You're still like a lion. See, you're talking.
That's not good.
If I was a lion, I could understand. I think you're trying to say lions in the camp. Are you trying to say that? Lions in the camp.
No, I'm not.
Lions in the camp.
No, I don't know what's wrong. No. We'll have to reschedule an interview.
Oh, jeez. Oh, what? That's a shame. I think they meant to do that to us. That's what. We were getting on to some good subjects there, and they didn't want us to on.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm telling you, so they've put that voice in there, so you can't hear you. I'm telling you, that's what they do.
Shame.
That's how they stop us. This is what they do. I'm telling you. But I wish I knew the lion talk. You know.
Tony, take
Somebody's
care.
messed you up.
We'll talk. Take care. All right?
Take care. Bless.
All the best. So, unfortunately, I don't know what happened there with Tony Cesay. We were having a great show there, as you can see, and having a great conversation, and all of a sudden, bang, the sound's gone. But we'll have to continue this conversation. As always, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. As always, this has been BWTM Sports on a very interesting night. Take care.